There are very few shopping complexes which now don't have a nail salon, where you'll pay less than half what you'd pay at a beauty salon. But like most cheap things, it comes at a price. In this case, you are often being exposed to chemicals that are both toxic and banned. Laura Sparks investigates.
They're cheap, quick and can always fit you in.
I thought, gee, this is great, you know, $55 mani-pedi, but, you know, I've paid the price.
But what toxic chemicals are you breathing in and what infections are lurking?
What comes with cheap, unfortunately, you'd have to say nasty. And what happens is that when it's cheap, you're not looking after the things that need to be taken care of, like infection control.
You can get nail infections, you can get fungus, damage from the electric file.
MMA is very dangerous to be put on the nail. It's dangerous to be breathed in.
Nail salons, now as much a part of any shopping centre as a McDonald's outlet. As their numbers surge, so too do the shortcuts, the dangers.
Your nails start to go really white and they look really terrible, and then they start to sort of disintegrate at the top.
It just starts to go sort of black, and I guess it just looks like fungus.
Ask yourself, why is it appropriate for the staff to wear masks and not the public? The tests we've just carried out unmask the shocking truth.
The smell, it just knocks your socks off. It really, really does. It's really quite potent.
They don't sterilise?
No, they don't.
Beautician and nail technician Mindy Hamilton is president of the Australian Fingernail Association. She points her carefully manicured finger at the salons who use a cheaper toxic nail acrylic.
We get lots of calls from people who've been to those places and have, had really bad nail damage. Some people have, got infections.
This nail acrylic is used to harden nails. It contains a highly toxic banned chemical called methyl methacrylate, or MMA.
They can buy it in humongous big gallon drums for probably a quarter of the price of the good quality EMA, which is ethyl methacrylate.
EMA and MMA do the same job, but the cheaper MMA is far more toxic and does its job too well. Once it's on, it's extremely difficult to get off and leaves irreparable damage to the natural nail.
You can't remove it just by a normal nail file. They actually have to use an electric file, and if they're not trained correctly, they can actually do more damage to the natural nail as well.
But this is just the beginning of the problem.
Certainly respiratory problems, eye, nose, throat irritation are typical symptoms, even at low concentrations.
Environmental scientist Peter Dingle from Perth's Murdoch University says MMA hits you at all angles, not only when you breathe it in, but also when it's put on your skin.
They can cause a lot of problems, and problems in terms of irritation, redness of the skin, swelling up of the skin, and some sensitisations.
MMA is banned in 20 states in the US, New Zealand and Canada, and the UK plans to ban it in the near future. But we're lagging behind. Here it's allowed to be diluted into cosmetic products at 1% of the total content. But nail technicians believe that the cheaper nail salons are using illegal products with far greater concentrations of MMA.
Extremely easy for us to purchase the MMA. I went in on a Saturday to a well-known supplier and there were shelves full of it. I just want to have a look at the stock on the shelf because...
Nail and beauty wholesaler Karen Peppercorn runs GNB Salon Supplies. She wanted to expose dodgy suppliers that were selling products with more than 1% MMA. So she bought this bottle of acrylic nail that contained MMA in its listed ingredients. We tested it and our results were horrifying. The liquid was 99% MMA, making it an illegal substance. Karen was furious and revealed the fact on a nail industry website.
I outed them on there to cause public awareness. I wanted the girls, the technicians, to realise that it is absolutely banned because some girls weren't aware of that, and I wanted customers to be aware.
Interestingly, Karen went back to the supplier to buy some more. And guess what? The products had disappeared off the shelves.
It's just no longer available. It's all underground. It's only sold, I would imagine now, only sold to salons that they're familiar with and not just the normal nail technician who would walk in off the street.
Now to the results of our air quality tests for MMA. We sent 4 women into different nail salons, each wearing an organic vapour monitor, a recognised scientific occupational health and safety testing system. They spent more than 2 hours in the salons getting a manicure and pedicure. Then the monitors were delivered to the lab for testing. All 4 samples revealed small amounts of MMA in the atmosphere, but the levels were under our national standards. Unfortunately, this sorry story doesn't end here. Helen Webb and Aura Lugton both believe they picked up nasty fungal infections in their toes from cheap nail salons.
Extremely unpleasant to have it, and it looks extremely unpleasant, and you just can't get rid of it. It's really hard to get rid of, and it spreads.
It's embarrassing, it's ugly, it's unsightly, and it's a health risk.
They're not autoclaving their instruments, and many of them aren't in fact looking after basic infection control standards that everybody else is looking after. Kate, come on through.
As president of the Australian Podiatry Association, Brendan Brown is alarmed at the rising incidence in complaints against nail salons.
We're seeing people get cut, we're seeing people get more infections in their toenails, so fungal infections, and even skin infections in their toenails, and that's of real concern.
His autoclave machine cost $15,000. He uses sterilised instruments for each new patient.
So it just displays the blade that we've used on you?
When it comes to razors, again, a new one for each patient. He's concerned that unskilled nail technicians are also using this dangerous implement.
Many of them are bordering on exactly what we would do here, unfortunately, and that comes with its certain risks. You've got someone that was trained for, you know, as little as 2 days to someone again versus someone that was trained for 4 years.
Experts say because the industry is unregulated with no policing whatsoever, nail salons will continue to flourish without fear of being caught out, both in terms of unsafe infection control and the use of MMA. Professionals call for the product to be completely banned.
I think the only way to tackle it is through the health department, through the local councils, and educating their rangers to know exactly what they're looking for when they go out to these salons.
Laura Sparks reporting.